Strange New World Season 3 can pay off an Enterprise romance first teased 59 years ago. The Star Trek franchise has never shied away from love stories, even the most unlikely ones. From Spock's stoic struggles with emotion to Worf's warrior heart, the franchise has used romance to add dimension to its characters. But some of the most intriguing sparks never caught fire, or at least not on screen. With Star Trek, Strange New Worlds heading into Season 3, one of the franchise's longest dormant romantic threads might finally be reignited. The nearly 60-year-old chemistry between Captain Christopher Pike and his number one, Una Chin Riley. This potential relationship was first teased all the way back in 1965 in The Cage, the original Star Trek pilot. At the time, Pike, played by Jeffrey Hunter, and number one, portrayed by Majel Barrett, shared a dynamic that suggested mutual respect, trust, and perhaps something more. Pike's subtle admiration of his first officer and her composed yet warm demeanor hinted at romantic tension, remarkable for a pilot episode in the mid-60s. But the romance was never allowed to blossom, largely because The Cage never aired as a full series, and Star Trek pivoted to Captain Kirk and a retooled Enterprise crew. Fast forward nearly 6 decades, and Strange New Worlds has revived those characters with stunning depth. Anson Mount's Pike is a layered, haunted, and compassionate leader. Rebecca Romijn's Una Chin Riley is fiercely loyal, intellectually brilliant, and quietly vulnerable. Their chemistry is not only palpable but foundational to the show's emotional center. So why not let it evolve? Season 3 presents the perfect opportunity. Una's arc in the first 2 seasons of Strange New Worlds has centered on her identity as an Illyrian, a genetically modified species outlawed by Starfleet's regulations. Her arrest and subsequent trial tested her loyalty, her relationships, and her belief in the Federation. Throughout it all, Pike stood by her with unwavering support, risking his own career to defend her honor. That isn't just command solidarity. That's the behavior of someone who deeply cares. The emotional groundwork has been laid. Pike's knowledge of his own tragic fate, that he will be severely injured and confined to a wheelchair-like device in the near future, makes his current relationships more intense. He has a limited timeline. Every choice counts. Every connection matters. Why wouldn't he seek love, even if it's complicated? From a storytelling perspective, a romance between Pike and Una would be ripe with dramatic and emotional payoff. It would not only echo the quiet, unresolved tension of The Cage, but also enrich their current character arcs. Imagine the tension of Pike's looming destiny weighed against the possibility of a love that has always been just out of reach. Imagine Una's own internal conflict. Can she allow herself to feel something more for her commanding officer after a lifetime of strict discipline and secrets? There's also precedent in the broader Star Trek universe. Picard and Crusher had decades of will they won't they tension, which finally paid off in Star Trek, Picard. Janeway and Chakotay danced around mutual affection for 7 seasons of Voyager. Even Michael Burnham and Book on Discovery proved that Trek can handle mature, emotionally complicated romance without sacrificing sci-fi stakes. And let's not forget, Strange New Worlds already embraces a more character-driven, emotionally grounded format. It's not afraid to explore vulnerability, love, and loss. Lorne and Kirk had a beautiful but tragic temporal love story. Spock and Chapel's evolving connection is full of pain and passion. So a Pike-Una romance wouldn't feel out of place. It would feel like a natural, if bittersweet, evolution. Of course, Starfleet regulations prohibit commanding officers from engaging in relationships with their subordinates. But Strange New World is nothing if not courageous. It could explore the romance through quiet gestures, unspoken longing, or even a one-time confession that acknowledges what they feel but chooses duty over desire. That, too, is compelling drama. And unlike the early years of Trek, modern audiences are ready for a story that embraces emotional complexity over moral absolutism. Paying off this long-teased romance would also honor Majel Barrett's legacy. As one of Star Trek's foundational figures, not only as number one, but later as Nurse Chapel and the voice of the computer, Barrett's character was ahead of her time. The Cage was too bold for 1965, with a female first officer who showed strength, intellect, and emotional restraint. Giving Una the agency to choose love now in 2025 is poetic justice.